Hello everyone, I hope you are all doing well. This has been highly requested by many of you, and so I'm going to put the time aside today to make sure that I get this review done for everyone. We're going to be talking about the Ceccoli Tarot. It's produced by Lo Scarabeo, and it's a deck that many of us waited a very long time to actually finally receive. There seemed to be some type of glitch in the release date and when it actually came out, and that was frustrating for some of us, especially those of us who had pre-ordered this deck. But the arrival of this deck and working with this deck, I have to say, has been amazing. So I'm excited to talk about it with all of you now. So the deck itself comes in a typical Scarabeo box. Mine has kind of fallen apart because it's so flimsy and small that Vincent kind of tends to get his hands on those type of boxes. So, and I don't keep the Scarabeo boxes because they just don't last very well, and they're also just not that special for the most part. But the box itself is about the size of the deck, the cards themselves, and it comes with a little white book like this. That looks like it might have some information in it, but it's actually in about 4 or 5 different languages. So you actually are only going to get this much out of the little book itself. You get 19 pages of information from the little white book. It really doesn't give you that much information other than talk a little bit about why Nicoletta Ceccoli chose to create the deck, and a jumping off point for the meanings themselves. I do think in this case the little white book is worth a read, and she does have some interesting things that come up in the little paragraph or so that talks about the description of the card. And there are key concepts at the end. For instance, for the Six of Swords, rest after anxiety, compassion for all parties involved. So let me talk a little bit about the deck itself. The cardstock is typical for Lo Scarabeo. The cards are slippery, which irritates me, but the stock is not so flimsy that it starts to fall apart. In fact, mine hasn't had any issue at all. I've used this deck a lot, and I haven't had any type of wear or tear show up on it. So I will show you some of the images here. For those of you who have watched my favorite tarot decks of 2014, you know that I am in the middle of having a deep love affair with this deck. This is one of those decks that as soon as I took it out of the box, I knew I was going to work with for the rest of my life, just like the Tarot of Vampires, the Mary L. Tarot, and the Journey into the Hidden Realms Tarot deck. These are tarot decks that I will use for the rest of my life, and that I have a really special, unique relationship with each deck. This deck does not disappoint. And I think it's because you can see that there has been a lot of attention given to tarot itself, but also the story that Nicoletta Ceccoli is telling in each of the images, and throughout this deck as a whole. As you can see, she has a beautiful artistic style. And there is a sinister aspect to the childlike quality of these images that I find reads very well for the imagination, for the intuition, and really tells a very clear story for the querent, whether that's myself or whoever I'm reading for. I have so many card images that I love in this deck, and there are none that I do not enjoy or that I do not find to be really clear in their meaning. So you can see we have this kind of bright pastel type of style, and then there is this dark style that appears as well with some of the cards, and you will see that that's very effective as well in and of itself. So let me just show you a few of my favorite images. This is the Five of Wands. And I have shown you all this before, but there is one card. Oh, I like this one too. I think this is the Knight of Pentacles. Scarabeo decks get me with their symbols for the Knight and the Page, and I have a tough time with them sometimes. I love this image. I love this one as well. This is the Four of Wands. The mermaids are beautiful in this Three of Cups. Oh, this one's great. Five of Swords. So you can see that this deck has a lot of character. Here's the moon. Oh, that's one of my favorite representations of the moon that I've ever come across. And this is one of the images on the box of the deck as well. But let me just... Oh, this one's great too. Oh my god, I love this deck so much, guys. Nine of Wands. I really have nothing to say that's in any way negative or would be a drawback from purchasing this deck. Here's the Wheel of Fortune. This is my favorite image of the deck, and it's Three of Wands. And I've shown you guys this image in every video I've done about this deck, but it's so beautiful. Something about this image, just, I can sit with this image forever. And just meditate and walk into, do path working with this image in a really, really powerful way. Something about this image just really pulls me in, and I love that image. It's still my favorite in the deck. There's Judgment. Oh, Two of Wands is beautiful as well. So there's something whimsical, wistful, but very aware in Nicoletta Ceccoli's artwork, and it's very, very powerful and lends itself really well to the tarot system and to psychic readings, intuitive readings, tarot card readings. Her use of color, again, is astounding and amazing. And this is a deck that, again, like I said, oh, I love this image too, the Lovers. Oh, isn't that beautiful? This is a deck that I will be using for the rest of my life, and it's one that I will have multiple copies of, as I do with my my Tarot of the Vampires deck. This is one of those decks that I'll have multiples of because I know that I'll go through them, or I want to gift them to someone, or I will need to have a deck for myself, a deck to read with, etc., etc. This is my second favorite image in the deck. Okay, so this is either the Knight or the Page of Cups. Look at that. Oh my gosh, isn't that beautiful? Oh. This deck is so beautiful, guys. It is worth the investment. I think it's $22. I believe it's around $22, depending on where you choose to purchase the deck. It is available now for pretty much everyone. I think Amazon has it available now as well. This is the backing of the deck itself. And again, you can see it's a typical Scarabeo size, so it's slim this way. It's more of a slender size, but it's a little longer than regular tarot decks. And you can see compared to an Oracle deck, it's much smaller. Which I wish people would make larger tarot decks, but this is a typical traditional tarot size, so it's really fine. I love the fact that they don't have the names of the cards in multiple languages anymore. And that really detracts from me being able to read with a deck, and so I'm really happy to see that Scarabeo stopped doing that. I find that I can read much easier when I don't have all that extra stuff in the borders. And of course, we all wish that they would get rid of the borders, but they never do, so we are stuck with borders for the time being. I don't mind this kind of cream-colored border, though. It's not too detracting for me from reading. So, the Ceccoli Tarot, I am absolutely going to encourage you to purchase. It is incredible. It is amazing. It's beautiful. It's haunting. I think that's really the word that comes to mind for me about this deck. This is a haunting deck. The images stay with you. The meanings when you read with the deck are very clear. It is just a beautiful deck. From a collector's standpoint, this is a must-have. If you're someone who collects the artwork aspect of decks, this is something different. It's special. It's a unique voice. It's a unique artist, and it is just a gem. It's a deck to be treasured for years and years to come, and I am sure is going to kind of stand the test of time the way decks like the Mary L. Tarot are doing and Tarot of the Vampires. They are decks that for most of us who read, we have passionate relationships with and really, really love. And I do know that from some of the comments you all have been sending me, some of you are having a hard time with this deck as far as feeling comfortable with it and getting to know it. So it is a deck that does require time from us. And I think each of us will have our own unique exploration of the energies of this deck. But for me, it is a haunting deck. And it is one that I am so happy to have as part of my spiritual toolkit and that I love using and I'm honored to use. It's also a deck that does like to read for other people, which is fun too, because I get to explore it in a completely different way when I read for others than when I read for myself. So I highly recommend the Nicoletta Ceccoli Tarot. I can't say enough wonderful things about this deck, and if you are considering purchasing it, I would tell you to go right ahead and do it. You won't regret it. I hope you're all doing well. Many blessings. See you in the next video. Bye.